Whoa, whoa. What's up, people? What's up? What's up? What's up? Yak, Chi-Town's finest, baby. We back up in here, right? Man, this is definitely it's been a journey right here, man. And I want to, man, start off by saying appreciate everybody, man, that's been tapped in with me. Appreciate everybody that's been following this story. Well, I can't even say a story. This life, this whole life journey of mine, man. And it's like, man, I appreciate y'all following it and sticking through it with me, and man, giving y'all input and y'all comments and everything, man. That definitely makes me feel it some type of way, man. So it's like man, I definitely appreciate it. But this episode right here, man, I have to I have to like put some stuff in that was left out because I on each part as I'm doing a replay, there's certain stuff that I'm missing that I could have because I'm just winging it. You know what I mean? My wife keep telling me like, man, it's okay to jot some stuff down. You know what I mean? Like, make take some notes, but is when you take notes, it almost seems like it's not. I don't know. That's a funny quirk about myself. So, but it's like, man, it's some stuff that I left out that's vital and that's key to who I am today. Man. Now, when I tell y'all about the situation, when they on my birthday weekend, when they ran into the detail shop, they ran into the house. They also ran into the bar. Now, man, we scrambling right now because man, this is crazy. We know this is life changing. So the the part of this that I left out was the night before. I had actually got 19 ounces in, 19 ounces in of that white, and usually we never would put nothing where we lay our head. We never would put nothing where we lay our head. But we wind up being on some old trick off shit. Got a couple chicks we doing some shit with, so we just tucked and rolled and proceeded with our night, having a fun night. So you know what I mean? We get up that next morning and we like, man, when we get up, we shoot that straight up out of here and do what it do. I wound up taking one of the ounces because the block was jumping. So I took one of the ounces, bust that down into 20s. Sit right at we had this desk on the on the left hand side of our room, right by next to the window. Bust them down. Took what I was gonna take and put the remainder inside that drawer on that little tape, like a little desk. Put the rest up in the ceiling, the pop in square ceiling tiles with, have them sitting up there. So we again, the morning starts. We running around doing what we doing outside. Still have not moved this product yet. Still have not moved this product yet. And I can remember my man Arnold, Elroy, Relly, Carol. They was all out on the block shooting dice. Shooting dice. This was one of them days the block was jumping, man. Treese, they was out there. Rest in peace, Treese. Everybody was on the block. It was one of them summer days. Everything was just looking fine. I don't shoot dice. I've never shot dice, but I'm sitting out there just talking shit, side betting, pumping my guys up. L Blue, salute, man. And thank you, man. I definitely appreciate the input and all, man. I appreciate it. So it's like, man, I'm out on the block watching him shoot dice. Man, Pee Wee, I got him running, you know what I mean, doing what he do. And we still have my brother Matt. He's in the house. He come out, he said, man, y'all ready to go hit this mall? The night gonna be jumping, you know what I mean? It's going down because it's my birthday weekend. So we shoots on to the mall. And on the way going up Lombard Street, and on the way there, we like, damn, we ain't grab that shit. But we'll get it when we come back. The comeback never happened. Because by the time we was sitting in the mall, we got all the phone calls where they was running up in all these situations. So now we scrambling. We scrambling how, man, we just think, bam, this is, we hit, you know? So in the process, I got Herm dog. He went to the detail shop the next day. He's like, man, they tore it up. They tore the equipment and shit up because we actually had started building a studio upstairs in the detail shop. So he's like, man, they tore a lot of the stuff up. They took the equipment. Come to find out later on, somebody that you think a homeboy, somebody you think a brother, you know what I'm saying? About you going off his word, you know. He wound up taking the shit. Police didn't take it. He wound up taking it and probably selling it because it was real high price studio equipment. That found that out later on. But the same guy, we like, man, they had the paper on the door showing like that they raided the crib and everything. Herb like, man, I run up in there, she was in there telling them some things we wanted up out of the house. Like, man, has some money here. Go grab this, go grab XYZ. Herm called me like, man, yeah, where you put that situation? Telling him. He like, bro, I don't think they got it. I'm like, what you mean they got it? They had started popping the ceiling tiles, but they stopped right where that desk was at. So once they saw what they found in the desk, they stopped popping the remainder of the ceiling tiles. I said, hey, go right here. Boop, boop, boop. He popping the ceiling tiles. Bam, jackpot. We still got the 18 ounces. They didn't take the 18 ounces. Once they saw what was in that damn desk, they think that they hit a jackpot on the raid, you know. So man, that's a blessing in itself. So we like, man, let's man, we can go deal with this now. 1 ounce bagged up. Yeah, exactly, Blue. You know what I mean? They made a major, that was a major police F up, you know? So it's like, man, you can deal with, you don't want to deal with none of it, but you can deal with an ounce bagged up in 20s as opposed to 19 ounces almost having a brick. You know what I mean? That go from Rico Kingpin type shit to, man, you can work it out. You know, your lawyer can work something out, man. You can deal with package deals. You know what I mean? So that was a blessing in itself. But it's like, man, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff at that time in my life. I left out and went past on these journeys because I'm like, man, I'm winging it, but it's also, you know what I mean. I think I might should jot stuff down like my wife's telling me, but I'm a freestyle type of guy. But remember, I told y'all I wound up marrying the police officer. So I was like, it was a big thing with that entire situation. Now when I started dating her, me, my brother Matt, remember I told y'all, brought my other best friend Tommy Guns up here from Chicago. We took her out for her birthday. Hammerjacks, I believe that's the name of it. Hammerjacks was a popping spot in another one down. Can't remember the name of it. But we took her out. I took her out for her birthday, and all us went. Mind you, she's still a police officer at this time. So we take a bunch of flicks. You know how you go out in the club, you taking pictures, and you doing what you do. I wind up leaving all the pictures from that night in my brother Tommy's car. And mind you, I'm on Lombard Street doing what I do. Tommy got his own situation back on Conklin Street, next street over. He got a 24-hour everything going. So it's like, man, he took the pictures out of his car and had put them in the house. So when they raided the house, they looking for these Chicago dudes who all these police and they look beat on their district saying they don't know. Now if you see Officer K in these pictures with Chicago, how you don't know him? Yeah. So it was like, man, it had got kind of crazy on that tip. You know what I'm saying? So man, she wound up basically resigning at that time and going into another career path. You know what I mean? And that was, man, that was a big factor into why I knew, damn, we had something serious going here also, because she could have easily just played it out in her favor and lined my ass up for real. So that was a major contributing factor into me knowing, damn, she really rocks with me, you know, because that's a lot to put your career on hold slash on the gun line for a guy you met from out of town, ain't even from this place in XYZ. So you know what I mean? That was a big part of that. And man, and me and her wound up getting married. And mind you, I had a lot, I had a lot of bullshit going along with me because I was teetering, I was riding the fence. I'm like, I'm 1 foot in, married, family man, and I had also started a career galvanizing steel at that time. So I started, but I caught one on the case I caught. I had to be working. So my man James and Johnny Bryant hooked me up with a what's that? Yeah, she had to be really digging you, man. Exactly, man. That man, really, really serious. Like that was a whole nother thing, man. So when I caught that case, I had to start working. So I actually started a career doing galvanizing steel at that time. And so I'm riding the fence. So I'm married, I'm working, but on the other hand, I'm still one foot in the streets also. And she was, pushing me to leave that alone because she was actually clean cut. You know what I mean? Nose clean, no BS with her, real smart, intelligent, educated woman. You know what I mean? So she wasn't on no, she wasn't digging that street shit I was doing by no stretch. So I don't want that to even seem like that was she was just doing what she had to do to make sure she didn't roll me all the way over and trying to save me. You know what I mean? So I definitely appreciate her for that still to this day. So I got married and I'm riding the fence. I'm still doing, you know what I mean, all kinds of crazy shit. But it's like, man, I had to be honest. That part of my life, dealing with in my first marriage, is a big reason why I am like I am today as a man. Because I did things in that relationship that scarred a person that I loved. You know what I mean? That didn't deserve none of the BS that she caught dealing with me. You know what I mean? So it was like I'm real meticulous about stuff I do now because of a lot of stuff I learned from her and from my relationship at that time. You know what I mean? It was like, man, I didn't as like men, we don't even realize we might be doing certain stuff. You know what I mean? And why we might be doing stuff. I was dealing with emotional shit from my past and my childhood that I didn't even realize. That was one of the reasons I was so reckless in the streets, like fighting in the clubs. I'm going in. As soon as somebody jump off, I'm on the front line, first one ready to go. And she started making me address certain stuff that I get, because man, a lot of stuff from my past I had just like buried. I wasn't even, you know what I mean? I wasn't even dealing with it. Remember I told y'all the situation with how my kid's mom, how that situation got funky. A lot of that shit I had just blocked out, buried, not even paying it no mind. And it almost was non-existent for a minute. So that was one of the reasons I was so reckless in the streets for real. And this lady was helping me deal with it. She was helping me start admitting certain stuff, start talking about certain stuff. This stuff started actually healing me from like some shit I didn't even know I was going through, to be honest. But in the process of that, I gave her all kind of trauma, man. You know what I mean? So it's like it's man, we gotta be honest. I gotta be honest. This is my story. So I hope it don't get like dry right here, but this is a part of the transition. This is a part of everything. You know what I mean? That part there is the reason I can have a successful marriage right now. From the bullshit that I went through and dealt with and put a person through in my first marriage. So that's why it's like certain stuff I don't do now that man I'd have been head first in before. So that was a contributing factor to that, man. So on the last one, I felt like I just brushed over that part of my life, like my marriage didn't mean that because it did. You know what I mean? That was man, that was key. That was real key. You know what I mean? That was a key part in my life, man. That you know what I mean? I didn't show enough or express enough in my last little part. You know, so I had to make sure I addressed that. Cause it was man, she was definitely a good one. She held me down. You know what I mean? She had my back, all of that stuff. You know, but it was like, man, I started. You know, when you do some when you do things to a person that you caught that's supposed to be your significant other or the person that you so called love, you know they twerks, you know they ins and they outs, they ups, everything. Certain stuff you probably shouldn't do, right? I was doing that shit. Even though I ain't have to, and I know that shit would have fucked her up. So that's that shit we as men do. You know what I mean? That don't be not using our damn head. So I'm going through a lot of shit. But I'm still in the streets. You got to remember this. I'm still in the streets. I'm still freaking off. I'm still all kind of stuff. And I'm married, got a job, everything. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I had to come to a decision. Like, man, when am I going to self-check myself? You know what I mean? Like, what's really worth? Is any of this worth losing something, some stability at home where you ain't got to worry about how you sleep, worry about every time you hear a noise, you jumping up and shit. You know what I mean? So it was like, man, I went through a transformation at this point in my life. It was a big transformation going on with me right at this time where I started looking at stuff really like a grown man for real. Like, man, none of these little brides out here that you know what I mean, that I'm busting off on, ain't none of that worth losing what's at the crib. Me still running in the streets, making these couple dollars, putting my life on the line, plus putting the risk of getting all this jail time on the line when I actually got a career. Starting at that galvanizer plant. I wound up staying there 18 years. So that was the start of a transformation for me, man. I'm building a career and everything at the exact same time. I'm riding the fence just because I was so used to I was so used to being this dude when you walk in the bar, when you walk in the club, everybody's showing super love to you, but that shit ain't really no super love because most of these cats really rock with me like that. They be telling me to take my ass home. You know what I mean? So I had to right then was a point I started eliminating a lot of people out of my circle to you know what I mean? It was a lot of stuff. I grew as a person right then. I got a lot wiser right then. But then you also go through the ups and downs of how I started hurting other people to get to that point where I'm feeling better as a man. I'm healing myself. Now I got to deal with this situation to the person that I scarred like hell. You know what I mean? So that sent me through a whole roller coaster ride. You know what I mean? So it was like, man, when I was ready to fall back and all right, now it's time to do right, get my life on track. I'm I'm over here catching Tommy gun bullets because the wifey on gun she firing now because of the shit I had already put her through. So that man, I went through a whole up and down ride with that one, man. That star paid in full. Salute, Yak, man. What's up, that star? Appreciate you tapping in, man. So it was like, man, it was a lot going on, you know. So I'm still working, but me and my wife at this time started going to we separate, you know. So that like once me and her separated, that kind of this what threw me back in the streets full time. Cause I'm sitting there by the time we separated, I was on full go, committed to fixing my household and shit. You know what I mean? I'm straight and narrow. I'm done with the BS in the streets. Now I'm locked in. I'm locked in on being a straight and narrow stand up husband, civilian in the streets, a citizen. You know what I mean? Working man every day. But by me being able to get myself to this point with the help of my first wife, I gunned her ass down. So now she on attack mode. You know what I mean? She on vendetta mode, vengeance mode, you know? So it's like, man, that sent me in a a whirlwind in itself. So I had stepped out of the streets. But when that situation happened in my life, that jumped me back in the streets just so I could occupy my time and more occupy my mind for real. Because I was, man, I was going through some shit. You know what I mean? Man, that messes with your mental. So that jumped me back out there in the streets. So you know what I mean? I had to like, I ain't got no narrate. I ain't narrating this, so it's like I gotta fit stuff around the pocket, you know. So I'm trying to, because it's key. That was key. That was a key part of my life that I had like almost bypassed on this last episode that I had to put out there to the people and speak on because it was real. So when I got back in the streets, by this time my brother coming back from Chicago. So now we ready to jump on this, do this music one more time. We ready to, man, let's get this one more shot. R.A.P. Rhythm and Poetry. You know, so man, I've been retired for a minute, had put my pen down, so but I'm moving and shaking again. I got one of my real good brothers, rest in peace. I'm gonna say C. Brother C, one of my Puerto Rican brothers. He got a nice situation going right now. And he like, man, y'all doing it one more time, Yak, I'm willing to invest. I'm willing to invest. You know what I mean? Like anything you need, that, especially on that music tip, let's do what it do, man. So he put a nice package up for us to do this. So man, we started putting our tracks together. You know what I mean? We started getting our rhymes together. This man, we put a little management team together with Keisha Celsius, my brother's first wife, who we met in, who I remind y'all from Vancouver, Canada. She's one half of the management team. So it was called Red Mahogany Management. That's what it was called. So they pushing us, they getting us going, and we started putting this project together. And man, as we going, we started traveling back to Chicago. So let's record. We started recording in Chicago so we could get that feel for that back home feel back in us, because people might not understand when you're in the midst of, you can be outside of, man, I'm from Chicago, born and raised, but I've been so many different places. You forget that feeling sometimes, that it's a soulful feeling that you might have from home. So we went home to record, and by us doing that, man, that put that umph up in me. So that's why that album came out the way it did. Let's say, this the part I was waiting to hear. She is me, 38. Man, Keith, now y'all, everybody, y'all see is me, 38. That's my little sis right there, man. That's like, man. That's big love for her right there. She can admit and man, vouch for a lot of this, man, because she went through it with us, man. She went through a lot of stuff with us, man. She says, you know, I love you, babe, all the time. Big bro got you. You know, so we started recording again, me and my brother, man. And it was like, just man, I'm on cloud 50 right now, because this is what we do. You know what I mean? This man, my best friend, my dog, you know. So we started putting this project together, man, and it was like everything was going the way it should go. And mind you, I had retired. I hadn't picked up a pen or nothing in like a very long time. But I tell y'all all the time, Mac Legend is the most talented cat I've ever met in my life. He's the most talented writer I've ever. I mean, y'all might think I'm joking when I say this. I tell everybody, if anybody can write song for song, line for line with Jay-Z, and I mean this shit, it's Mac Legend. I put my hand on it. If that nigga's song ain't his title better, chop this boy off. That's how I feel, you dig? So it's like, man, Mac's so tight of a writer, plus he knows me inside out, because everything I did, he was right there side by side with me. So we try to put this project together fast as possible and tight as possible. So my bro he writing more song, he writing the whole song so we can go. Because he can write my verse as well. And because he can put himself in my shoes because he was right there with me. So this is, man, this we doing what it do. And we get this project finished, man. And it was like, man, it was it was a joyful moment at this time in my life, right? It was a real man, heartfelt moment in my life right here. And we went in what was the club called, man? Club start with an S. Club in Chicago. Celsius then booked the show. We was opening up for Dipset. Right on. Remember I told y'all I grew up on 3651 South Federal, 35th and State, right? Told y'all that. Now in 2000 and whatever, what was it, 2014 at the time, right on 34th and State. It's a popping ass club there in Chicago right now. You know what I mean? Right one and a half blocks away from where I grew up at. It's one of the bangingest clubs in the city of Chicago right now, and we're opening up for Dipset. So we going home, you dig? We going home to, man, present Mac Legend, Mr. Yak, R.A.P., Rhythm and Poetry, back on the scene, back, this is our coming out party, man. And it was like, we went and did the show. And man, when I tell you, man, we tore the roof down like we always do. You know what I mean? Like we always do. Mac Legend is one of the best writers till this day, man. Sis, till this day. I stand on that, man, and I tell everybody, man. When I listen to our music, I rap his parts, and he raps my parts. We always been, man. I'm his biggest fan, and I believe he's my biggest fan. It's like, man, we've always been like that. And it's like, man, we did this show, man. When I tell you we did this show, opened up, and I stand on it. I wish I still had the footage. That's R.A.P. out rap Dipset hands down at this fucking show, yo. I'm telling you. When I tell y'all this, when you're looking at the opening acts on the card, they looking at XYZ, R.A.P., Mac Legend, and the Mac, and Yak. Nobody's expecting to hear who we really. They ain't expecting these two veterans, these two skilled MCs, these two high top notch, two of the greatest all time, one of the best rap duos of all time. They're not expecting that. They're expecting all these opening acts to be just opening acts. That's what they was expecting. But to their surprise, they had these two dudes, them two south side of the Chi, by way of the hundreds, that they traveled around the world, that's been groomed by Big Bro and Goldfingers. These are two dudes that, man, I don't think too many people fucking with us, excuse my French. You dig? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, we went up in there and we did what we do, man. We did what we do. And it's like, man, it was a beautiful thing. We were like, man, we was peaking. Oh no! My phone died. You gotta be kidding me!